Welcome everyone. I know you're probably thinking, Troy, what the fuck are you doing here? But I'm with Mr. Eddie Hearn here with Stomping Ground. We're going to chat Catterall.
Troy Parsons? Or
No.
Or Charlie Deeney? What was that?
Charlie Deeney sounds better, doesn't he? Yeah. Parsons is buzzing now.
I know, he's had it off now. He's just a celeb, isn't he? So,
and all he does is Saudi. He
Yeah.
said, I don't do the little shows anymore.
He was last seen at Ryan Garcia's bottom on a private jet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have heard this. Was that his birthday? Did you get an invite?
I didn't get an invite. No, we don't. I mean,
it is
just
what
how it goes.
He was messaging me at like half 1 this morning.
Was he?
And I was like, what are you up to, mate? I'm just by the pool giving it loads.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're here for Catterall, Taylor, mate. Yeah. I feel like you've asked this question a million times. But is it a real grudge match? Is it really as nasty as it is?
It's the only fight I've ever worked on where both want to attack on site. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, I've done Froch Groves, Bellew Cleverley, Quigg Frampton. They've all been pretty nasty, but you come together in a head-to-head, and then it's only if someone pushes you or something.
Yeah.
These guys, as soon as they come together, they want to grab each other around the throat, they want to go there and then. So the problem is these days, we live in a world of social media where the fight takes place. They're having backwards and forwards, but then the families get involved.
Yes,
friends get involved, and it gets very personal, and a lot of the time that stops a fight from happening.
Okay.
That's probably why this has taken 2 years, because Josh Taylor probably turned around after the first fight and went, do you know what? No, I'm not giving him another shot.
Yeah.
And now he's not champion. Obviously the fight's there for him, and he kind of needs to take it as well, and it's the right time.
Do you think that's the struggle as well with now you see, obviously I know there's selling a fight and then there's personal, and when it's personal, like, it's hard to get people to buy into it because there's so much WWE at times?
Yeah, I think so. Like, people will still say to me, is it real though? It's like, mate, you can't say to a fighter, right, we're going to script this. You don't need to.
Of course.
They're about to go into a ring. Someone said to me the other day in an interview, describe boxing to an alien, right? Imagine like an alien just come down and said, what is this? You can't describe it. It's the weirdest sport in the world. Right? You're going to get two people who you're going to build a storyline, you're going to bring them together, you're going to poke the fire a little bit, they're going to train for 12 weeks, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get them in a ring with ropes around it, in front of the world, everyone's going to get out, some bloke's going to ring a bell, and they're going to attack each other. Do you know what I mean?
And then they're going to get thousands of people watching going, I could be better than that.
But it's like, that's why I always say, we really got to give fighters respect, because...
Absolutely.
And you can't always expect them to act like a perfect individual, because we're bringing them. It's like today. All we're doing again is we're stoking the fire.
Of course.
We're bringing them together again. And sometimes the pressers, when there's bad blood, are quite quiet on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Because the trainers and everyone are going, look, let's just keep it calm, stay focused.
Keep your
We've got
emotions.
weight to make tonight. Do you know what I mean? The weigh-ins are the fiery ones, because both guys are down to the bones on their weight.
And
they haven't eaten for a while. They come face to face, and Taylor's a fiery guy.
Yeah, well, kind of saw that in the last one. So I've got a question, right? So I'm trying to think. I'm on the way up, doing my research.
Yeah.
You're fucking everywhere, by the way. Fair play to you. How difficult is it now to do these big shows? I know they're important to you because this is UK's where you're from, but how hard is it to get these shows on in the UK?
Well, the market's changed, obviously. I mean, all the fighters want to fight in Saudi.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a load of money out there,
of course.
right? And not just that, the events are spectacular. So, it's almost like today's price isn't yesterday's price or whatever, however that saying goes.
Yeah.
But we got to keep the business model right, and fighters have got to understand not everybody boxes in Saudi.
Yeah.
But actually, His Excellency watches everything.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like, you look at guys like, Jai Opetaia was a good example, even Mark Chamberlain.
Yeah.
They're guys that he's just watched on BT and DAZN and gone, I like him.
Yeah.
So he'll be watching this show. And if someone performs, you've got a great chance of being part of that mix. Sometimes it's random, sometimes it's selection. But, I feel like boxing in the UK has been so impressive and so powerful for the last 10 years. This is why this night's important.
Yes.
Because we have to put our flag in the sand as British boxing and say, we've got to make sure these big fights keep coming. And listen, if sometimes the price has gone up and we can't make as much money or sometimes any money on a show, we still have to do it, because if we're making more money in Saudi, etc., it levels each other out. But what you can't do is just go, oh no, we're over there now all the time. We've got this fight wedged between Usyk Fury and the 5v5.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, the big fights are going in Saudi, it doesn't really matter as long as they're happening.
Yes.
Because it's good for our time zone out there. But we've still got to get fights on the ground here, fill the arenas, and Saturday will be special. You know, it'll have that big event feel. And we've got to carry that on.
Because there's a lot of feel. This is just a general pub chat that we have around our place in Birmingham, which we're missing some big boxing. And I know you're coming back, but we need some more.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why this fight's important. And you know, the problem is once there's more money to go elsewhere, most go elsewhere.
Yes.
And it's not. Same
just
with
the
your
work.
game,
Yeah,
right?
it's just the work,
like, you want to... It has to be at the right number. It's not just, £1 more and we're off.
Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, it reaches a point where you're saying, well, look, and a lot of these guys are coming to the back ends of their career. Usyk, Fury, these kind of guys. So, you know, I think that we got to make sure that we build stars here as well. And we make fighters take fights that are going to appeal, not just one-sided fights. I mean, the good news is I don't think you're going to really see them anymore. Yeah. Because we know that we can't afford to do those kind of fights when you're seeing that product in Saudi. Yeah. Which is more like him versus him. It's a 50-50. Pay them what they want. Let's get it on.
As a fan, I don't see the money as the issue. I see what His Excellency has created with yourself and Frank now is kind of a UFC model. Yeah. It don't matter if we lose. But you have to have a good fight now.
Yeah, but when the money's right, the fighters don't mind doing it.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's like...
Is that mean, in your opinion, is it easier to take the loss
because,
then?
Like, I'll give you an example, really simple. So you got a fight, you know, I mean, you could use this as an example, right? Yeah. But this is happening. Jack Catterall, Josh Taylor. The manager says, the agent says, the advisor says, the purse should be X. Yeah. Right? And I go, well, actually, let me show you a P&L. Yeah. Right? This is what the purse should be. We're not taking that. So, well, that's the money. Yes. Like, it's not, this is black and white. It's not like, no, we should be on double that. Fight can't happen. Unless we want to do £1 million in cold blood, which ain't happening either. So then you get to a point where, but in Saudi, His Excellency might say, what's the number? And the agent says, it's this number. There. And then they'll fight, they'll do it. You know?
No,
so I think that everyone's benefiting under the new sort of regime, if you like. Yeah. But it's really important to make sure that we keep boxing here. And I think he watches everything, and that's why he's doing the fight, it looks like at Wembley in September. Because I think he sees fight fans going, these shows are great, but we want to do some over here, you know.
And is that why he's gone to LA as well?
Yeah, LA August the 3rd.
So that's good.
And that's pretty powerful to do that, you know.
Absolutely.
It's a big statement.
Just with that there, because I've not been there, it looks like you have a great time. Yeah. It looks like you're well looked after. Yeah. What can fight fans expect when they go out there?
I think that, you know, a lot of people that went to Fury Usyk, I reckon there was about 5,000 Brits probably for that. They were really surprised by, I think, how much they enjoyed it. You know, there's a perception that Saudi's this almost like, you know, religious backward country where you know, it's evolving all the time.
It's just ignorant, isn't it?
The only thing that it doesn't have is alcohol, right? But what I will say is the atmosphere is very pleasant at the show, and the fight was big enough to generate the atmosphere that kind of replaced alcohol a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Is it nice not having alcohol?
I think so. I mean, I'm not really a boozer, so for me, going out for dinner and not seeing people screaming and shouting and falling around all over the place, and you know, but that's part of our culture as well.
Absolutely.
As is it's part of their culture. So you've got to respect both.
Absolutely.
We like to go out, we like to have a pint, we like to watch the match. That's just what Brits do. But respect all cultures, and I think what fans found out there was, one, the show was brilliant, the build-up was brilliant, the hospitality was brilliant, the stadium was brilliant, and I think everyone left went, actually, great place. For me, great weather, great hospitality, great food, great restaurants, you know, gyms, everything. It's moving at such a rate out there, and I love it.
Get me an invite to the next one, or
what? Love it.
If Parsons lets me come back.
Dubai back in the day, really. Before it went a little bit wild, you know?
Just on the fight itself, I feel like probably the best heavyweight fight I've saw in a long, long time. I'm sure you've said that as well. I've got a question I don't think many people have asked you. Does Anthony Joshua's losses to Usyk now look more respectable?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, AJ was never hurt in the fight in a way. Probably buzzed a couple of times. You would be in any heavyweight fight. But when you saw Fury staggering and like out on his feet, it starts to look AJ's. I mean, particularly the second fight was a good competitive fight. But he still lost. You know, I saw the fight a little bit differently to people that were at ringside. I actually had Fury really controlling the first half of the fight, but a lot of people had Usyk up after 6 rounds. I mean, Usyk smashed him in the back 6. You know, it was only really maybe 7 that Fury won. 12 was a bit of a close round, but every other round was a domination. But I haven't watched it back yet. You know, I spoke to Belly yesterday. He went, watch it back. He said, I think you'll see a different fight. But I loved it. I thought it was very high level. I thought Fury was brilliant, particularly like 5, 6, 7, those kind of rounds. And I thought he was starting to get in his flow. But Usyk's a hell of a competitor.
Unfortunately, I've been told I've got to read this one.
Right,
so this is a Parsons question. We sort of knew anyway that the IBF would be making it vacant, but are you disappointed it took 25 years for us to get an undisputed heavyweight championship?
Yeah,
and then to see it stripped in 2 weeks.
I think the problem is with these undisputed fights is you have mandatories with governing bodies. The flip side, I agree, but the flip side is if you have or you were the mandatory challenger and you've been working like for years and you've won a final eliminator and you've been a mandatory and they've allowed this fight, then they allowed the undisputed fight and they're saying, look, after this one, you get your shot. Like
at some point, it's got to give it.
It depends who you are. So for me, I like an undisputed champion. I think it tells you who the best is in the division. But Hrgovic, you know, is probably going to get his shot and the titles may peel away.
Mate, we've got loads more to ask, but we have got to get over there. So I'll let you crack on and we'll pick this up a bit later.
All right, mate. Cool.
Top man.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. See, that's how you get it out. When you